What's up, everybody? Today, I'm here with Zipwhip, and we're going to talk about why text messaging has totally transformed sales and how they're completely dominating the industry.
If you own a gym or you need a gym, this is your guy.
My name's Mike, and I help fitness studios that are ready to take action, work hard, and grow their studios. In this very saturated industry, there's tons of competition, but the opportunities are incredible. We'll cover the most common challenges in the fitness world and invite guests in the show that have learned to overcome them and share their strategies with you. This is the GSD Show. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GSD Show. I'm Mike Arce, and I'm here with Brandon and C-Roll, and they're from Zipwhip. So really quick, just so everybody knows what Zipwhip is, if you haven't heard about it already, tell everybody, what is Zipwhip?
All right, here at Zipwhip, we are a texting provider for businesses. So we help you provide a more complete communication strategy by giving you the ability to text from your branded toll-free number or landline phone.
And the best part about it, guys, the text messaging marketing strategy has kind of been, 50-50 depending on how you do it, just like any marketing strategy. But one of the things that we've noticed is not as effective are text messages from like those standard 5-digit numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Like 44222 is what we use, right? Yep. But we use it with our audience. But when you're using it with a colder audience, it's a little tougher. Mm-hmm. And so you guys have learned that, and you set it up so that you can do marketing texts, but through the number of the actual business, right? Right. And you found a way to do that, which is really great. So guys, we're going to go through some really great stuff, and we actually have some really great stuff to give away to all of you that are listening in and watching. So stay tuned, as we're going to give away some really cool stuff to all of you. And we're going to explain to you why it's important to work with text messaging, work it in your system. A lot of you guys may already know that it's important, but you may not know necessarily why. I think that's important so that you can really focus in on making it even better. But we're going to talk about that with these guys and why they've made the changes that they've made based on the research that they've done and the things that they learned by being in this industry. So stay tuned, because this is going to be awesome. All right, so you guys have been obviously researching this. You don't build a company off of a very niche thing like this without really knowing your numbers and your stats. Let's talk about communication, because in the last 10 years, it's evolved a lot, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. How have you seen communication evolve in the last 10 years?
Yeah, so jumping straight into things, kind of 10 years ago, the main kind of modes of communication were, your phone calls and your emails. And then texting was kind of new on the scene. It was something that was, again, as you mentioned, pretty niche. High schoolers did it underneath their desks, kind of outside of the watchful eye of the teachers. Kind of how
not me. I was text message. I had a beeper.
And how things have kind of progressed since then is obviously, those high schoolers, those millennials, if you will, have graduated, are now some of the kind of predominant buying power consumers in the market. So as they have kind of come into the market and became the main demographic a lot of companies are marketing to, texting has more and more become kind of one of the preferred means of communication.
Mm-hmm. And even people, they have instigated it, but people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s are also text messaging a lot more now, as that's how their kids do it and that's how their peers are doing it too. Like anything else, Facebook was one of those things that a lot of people kind of avoided in the beginning because they didn't want people to see what they were eating for breakfast, which is a very much I don't get it statement about the thing, right? But once they realize what it is, now you see mothers, grandmothers, everybody's on Facebook doing stuff, and they're learning how to do it, right? My mom doesn't, sorry mom if you're watching, but she'll like post and share things that, it's like, Mom, everyone sees that, Yep. But at the end of the day, in a year from now, she's going to get it and everything's going to go smooth. Text messaging is one of those things. I think it's already at the point now that everyone's doing it. And so you guys are working with different industries, but what are like the main industries you see yourselves working with?
I mean, company-wide, we're working with anywhere from, insurance range into fitness to radio stations.
Is fitness a big market for you guys?
Definitely.
Yeah. Like when you say fitness, give me an example. Like what kind of fitness companies are using Zipwhip or this type of service?
I mean, across the full spectrum, ranging from, your fitness togethers, your personal training clients, to your title boxing studio hit classes, even to your big box gyms, general membership. Texting has kind of been playing a more larger role just as communication has grown.
So do people so you said title boxing, so does that include companies like Orange Theory or F45 and Yoga Place, stuff like that, franchises?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so when they use you, what's their ultimate goal? Why are they using your company and how does it work?
To warm up leads specifically, as well as to just better engage with them, to get them into the gym, and then after that, keep them coming back.
Okay.
As well as reaching out to old members, getting them back in, as well as prospects, kind of sending out those marketing things that they've got going on.
Yeah, and I'm sure you all have experienced this as well. You're sitting at work on the phone, you see the gym, you're thinking about coming into them, you don't necessarily have the time or the will to call them, and so now it's as easy as just shooting a text, just like you would to any of your friends back in high school under the watchful eye of the teacher. Now you can do that to the business you want to go into.
So why not just text from their phone? I mean, is it that much faster, or what are the benefits of doing it through a platform versus just, whipping out your phone real quick and sending a quick text?
I'd say it's definitely faster doing it from a computer that's hooked up to your phone, because you're typing on a keyboard, as well as using, if you have group messaging features, typing from an iPhone, that gets kind of tiresome, and carpal tunnel kind of comes into the mix there. I think it's just way easier to use a computer keyboard. It's faster.
Now what does it look like? If I'm looking at it on my computer, what does it actually look like? Is it just like, okay, here's this one contact, or do I see them all at once?
Yeah, I'd say I'd kind of relate it to your Facebook Messenger interface. You've got all of your conversations on the left here, and then if you decide to click on one, it'll come up and it'll show you all of that history right there.
Okay. What's up, everybody? So you've just learned how amazing this tool Zipwhip is, and if you would like to give it a shot, they're actually going to give a free month to anybody that wants it. So, pretty cool deal. All you have to do is go to thegsdshow.com/E045. That's thegsdshow.com/E045. Thanks, and back to the episode. Beep, beep. So now text messaging is obviously really good. You guys have studied communication in multiple ways. Still, email obviously is still very big. Calls still big, very big. I still think everybody should get a personal phone call when possible. But how do those roles play in effect? I mean, do you say, okay, do this in this case or this scenario, or what's your take on that?
I mean, it's all part of kind of a continuous communication strategy. So obviously you want to talk to people the way they want to be talked to, like either it be a phone call or an email. Different people respond to different stimulus kind of more actively. So texting is just kind of another piece of the puzzle that's going to make everything more effective. I know we've all been in that situation where you see that call come in from the number that you don't necessarily want to answer it.
Right.
So think of a text as just like a way to warm people up, to schedule that call. Same thing with email. I know we all have I have 4 email addresses. I don't know. Do you have a spam email address?
Yes.
Sign up for stuff with?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the times people are using that email address to kind of communicate with businesses, because that's what it's for. And so now just shooting that text off, if you need to use an email address or an email to kind of convey, a more lengthy conversation, you can shoot a text and they'll be looking for that. So rather than have it being buried under 30, 40 emails and them having to scroll through things, now it's just kind of just another piece in the puzzle, just to kind of make everything flow more smoothly.
Yeah, and the main thing that Brandon said that I really like too is the fact that you want to communicate to people the way they like to communicate. So as a person that's been in sales for 12 years now, and Molly, I know this is how Molly does it. She's a salesperson on our team. Depending on how they're communicating with us, we kind of notate that, and that's how we communicate. That's how we reach out. So if this person text messages us, we know that when it's our time to reach out to them, we're going to send a text. We're not going to follow up with an email or a phone call, because that's not their style. That's not the way they do it. And I think that's a strategy that is not only good for everybody listening into, especially if you guys are really big on getting reviews on Yelp and Google and all that. It's really good to know where people live. And I don't mean their house, I mean their style of working on things. So let's say somebody comes to your gym and says, hey, I found you on Yelp. you don't say, hey, can you leave us a review on Google? You say, hey, can you leave us a review on Yelp? If somebody says, I found you on Google, hey, can you leave us a review on Google? Because that's where they're already at. Same thing with Facebook. I found you on Facebook, can you leave us a review on Facebook? So you really want to be in tune as a salesperson as to what this person does and how they do it, because it's going to be a lot easier to break down the walls to get them to do what you want them to do, which in your case is get them to communicate with you so that you can get them to the point of coming in and eventually taking a trial or whatever the offer is to become a paying member.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
All right, awesome. So let's talk about, I want you to think of, let's, I guess, take title boxing as an example.
Yep.
So, because you're working with like over 100 of them or something, right?
Yep.
So that's easy to say that you guys have already tested a bunch of things are working really well. Take me through, as if I'm the customer, what's my experience like as a customer using Zipwhip? When do I get my first text message, and how do you recommend that the gym communicates with me in order to be effective?
I mean, so kind of as, I guess, from a customer's perspective, you sign up for a promotional, you're on your Facebook, and you see something that piques your interest, makes you want to come into the gym. So it could either be like, leaving a message, leaving a phone call, filling out an online form. And so now using texting kind of from a gym owner's perspective, they'll be able to reach out to you, you'll be able to reach out to them. Everything's is trending towards two-way. Obviously, we've all experienced kind of, the appointment reminders, but, people are looking for a more kind of complete experience. So by using texting, I mean, I know Zipwhip because that's who I work for, just all through the native SMS. You don't have to worry about downloading like a web portal or a new app. I mean, because kind of more and more, people are kind of feeling even app fatigue from, having to download Facebook Messenger, having to download WhatsApp, and all these different kind of isolated platforms. Simple is better. So the SMS, the native SMS that comes with, every cell phone, it's intuitive, it's fast, it's easy, and kind of by allowing and facilitating that two-way engagement, just kind of makes for a more complete and fast and real-time communication.
Okay, and so let's say I filled out a form. I saw an ad on Facebook. I'm the target demographic for a fitness studio.
Yep.
I see an ad on Facebook, and then I click on the ad, get to the landing page, fill out the information so that the person, I can get my trial, my offer. I know what we recommend, and let me know if this is something you recommend as well. Typically, the text message that goes to that person right away is something along the lines of, hey, C-Roll, this is Mike with Loudimer Fitness. Thank you so much for taking advantage of the free offer to come check out our fitness studio or to come check out Loudimer Fitness. In order to secure your offer, we would need to schedule your first class.
Yes.
Is now a good time to do that? And I always recommend ending in a question mark to increase engagement, right? Don't just say like, we need to schedule your first session, so please call me when you can. That's different, right? I like saying, is now a good time, and get engagement going. Is there, have you seen other things work better than that, or is that something you recommend?
Yeah, totally. I mean, people want to communicate with people. We've all experienced, the auto dialer, the robot on the phone. It's like, people are kind of sick of that. So by almost kind of engaging with them and just being a real person, people say texting is impersonal. It's like it's only impersonal because kind of that's the mindset.
To me, it's personal because the only people that text me are people I know.
Exactly.
Like so email to me has become less personal. It's still personal, especially because I have my spam email and I have my email, right? But if you're a business and people can email you from your site, it's a little different. But nobody texts me except for personal contacts.
Yeah. So by sending that text, they're looking for that culture. They're looking to connect with someone like in the gym. So by kind of phrasing it like in a friendly, rather than salesy manner, you're really kind of prompting them to engage with you rather than kind of putting them on that high pressure, kind of pitchy communication kind of pedestal.
So how can a fitness studio owner use text messaging in order to increase retention rates? So that's another thing that they deal with. Because actually, here's a crazy stat. I don't think I've ever mentioned this in an episode, but this is numbers from, I went to a conference called Bold, and it's MindBody's conference. MindBody works with 58,000 different small businesses, and the majority of them are fitness studios. A huge chunk of them are fitness studios. And the statistics that they gave was mind-blowing to me. And what this was, with all their numbers that they have internally, which over 50,000, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
base, right?
Yeah.
The average fitness studio retains 10% of their members over the course of 12 months. Meaning that if you sign somebody up January 1st, 2017, let's say 100 people, by next year, January 1st, 2018, only 10 of those original 100 are there. Which, you know what the funny thing is, a lot of people, when I talk to them about that, they argue that. They go, oh no, ours aren't, we're better than that, we're better than that. And then I ask them, how many members do you have right now? And they'll say 220. How many did you have last year? We have like 205. Okay, so how do you only have 15 more members? How many are you signing up every month? We sign up like 5 to 10. So how are you signing up 5 to 10 members every month, 12 months in a row, but only have 15 more new members, unless you're really losing a lot of people? And now that's the average. So let's be fair, because not everybody's the average. We got a lot of people bring the average down. We know there's a lot of people that are running businesses that aren't prepared to run a business yet. They're great fitness people, but they're not prepared to run a business yet. The best of the best, this is the stat they had, the best of their fitness studios were actually retaining 50%. Meaning if they signed 100 people January 1st, 2017, by January 1st, 2018, only 50 of those original 100 are still there. So even people without a retention problem retain 50% of their members. So retention's a big problem in this industry. Right. So yeah, it's great that we can use text messaging to get more members. I think that's extremely valuable. Obviously, we need to do that. But how do you find a way where it can help retain members as well?
Yes. So something that we found is that with emails, about 10 to 30% of emails are read. And with text messages, 98% are read. So when you're trying to get in contact with someone, that makes a big difference. Something that we recommend our clients do is after, maybe their trial class, you text them and you follow up on their experience. Hey, we're so glad that you came in. How did you like your experience? When would you like to come in for your next class? And then just scheduling out texts to go out, throughout their whole, maybe it's a month membership that they sign up for. Just scheduling texts out to go and follow up on their experience, asking how they're doing. And then just engaging with them through that rather than having to take time out of their days with a whole phone call. Not saying that phone calls are bad. You do need to talk to them, whether that be about, weight loss goals or anything like that. But quick exchanges that can be done over text messages that will help retain your members, just kind of checking in with them, seeing how things are going. Doing that over text messaging keeps that engagement up.
Yeah, and like a lot of people, particularly newcomers to the gym, they're right on that edge. They have excitement, they're there, they're present, but then all of a sudden, we've all been there, we get busy, kind of things fall to the wayside. And then a lot of times, specifically when that happens, you don't necessarily have the capacity to answer a phone call or type out a 15-minute response to an email. Right. So by just having just that simple little text go out, a lot of the times you can kind of just push them back over the edge to, get them to come back in and keep that excitement there and keep them engaged.
Yeah, and you guys can send like 50 messages at once, right?
Yeah.
So, a really great thing too, and this differs depending on what you sign up for, right? If you sign up for a big box gym like an LA Fitness or a Mountainside Fitness, you're not really expecting the accountability. It's very much like you're just giving me the tools I need to do this on my own, right? But when you sign up with a fitness studio, you pay a little bit more because you want the coaching, the instruction, the accountability, right? You're not going to take that session off. You can't just, in an Orange Theory fitness class, you can't just like stop and watch like the updates on the TV of what's going on in sports. Yeah. Whereas in a big box gym, you can get stuck watching the TV for 15 minutes. It's happened. I watch people do it, right?
I do it.
With that, I think people pay a little bit more to get that coaching, that accountability. Exactly. And I think, I know fitness studios that we work with that do this really well, they're doing it manually. I think a tool like yours could help them, but they will send random messages throughout the day or in the beginning of a day or at the end of the day. So let's say it's the beginning of the day. Hey, just a reminder to hit your goal. What are you going to do today to make sure you hit it? That's it. In the middle of the day, hey, it's 1 o'clock. We're about halfway through the day. How are you doing so far with your goals? Are you feeling pretty good about it? And then at the end of the day, hey, so goals are really, really hard to keep up with, especially through an entire day, getting caught up in everybody else when they're not following their goals. How do you feel you did today? Scale of 1 to 10, right? And that text message alone provides so much value to me because another thing too, a lot of the people that cancel fitness studio memberships, you can, if you're paying attention to it, a lot of people don't pay attention to it, but if you're paying attention to it, you can tell who that's going to be. And it's usually by the amount of activity. So beginning, you started going 6 to 10 times a month to this class, and all of a sudden you're going 1 to 3 times a month, or maybe you didn't even go. Somebody that's paying attention to those numbers and can check activity rates per member and really sort it and see who is actually coming in less often, they can say, man, Cyril's not coming in as much as she used to.
Yeah.
I should really send something out. Hey, and now you can group it, right? And say, I'm going to send a message to all these people that have only come into my gym twice or my studio twice in the last month. I'm going to send them a message. Hey, I know you've only come in twice this month. What's the deal? Are you traveling, or is there anything I could help with? Because I got a goal and it's to hit yours. What's going on?
That was
Right?
perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And it reminds me that, because life gets in the way, sometimes they're not intentionally doing it. Sometimes they're just like, shit, it has been 2 weeks. I haven't been in the gym in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You don't realize it, right? So I think it's really great, guys, to use texting for that, because it is personal. And when I get a text and that text says something like that, it means so much more than an email. I feel like that was a commercial type email versus a text. I feel like you're genuinely interested in my well-being and making sure I hit my goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Totally.
definitely.
That is awesome. Okay, so landlines. Are people still using landlines or no?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so tell me landlines versus mobile. How does that play a role in what you do?
Okay, so kind of do people still use landlines? And Jace could probably speak to this better than I, but what is it like? Some like 500 million landline and toll-free numbers are still being used by businesses, so landlines are definitely very much a real thing in the kind of the business world. And speaking to using kind of like a software like Zipwhip opposed to a mobile phone, just think about it from like a scalability perspective. So as Cyril mentioned earlier, you have the cell phone, that's your business phone number, that's the contact. It's kind of limited to just the cell phone. The number goes where the cell phone goes. You can only have one person using it at one time, and it's hard to really kind of scale that into a bunch of different aspects with your business. And that is opposed to kind of the software side of things, the landline side of things. By using a company such as Zipwhip, you can kind of scale that into all aspects of your business, whether it be marketing and reaching a bunch of people all at once, to kind of like even something like handling delinquent accounts, or just kind of client engagement. Kind of you can scale that to all aspects of communication, and then you can kind of delegate. A lot of people can be using it. You're not confined to a single space.
Right.
Anywhere where you have internet connection, you can send text from.
All right, so one of the things that I got to ask, because in a lot of cases, people have more than one person managing the sales, whether it's salespeople or fitness instructors that are acting as salespeople, or even a group of people. You have a sales manager, a front desk person, fitness instructors. Everybody can make the sales there. They all have the ability to. In some businesses, they structure it that way. So with that said, not everyone's by a computer. So do you guys, and hopefully I don't set you up for failure here, but you guys have like an app set up so everybody can download the app and we can all get notified when a text comes in?
Well, actually, sorry to interrupt. Yes.
Hold on. He says sorry to interrupt. No, he's not. This is Jay Street, and so he's a team lead. He's over here as well. So what is this?
So this is actually my cell phone, but I can send text messages from my desk landline back in Seattle.
Okay.
Just from right here, though. So I could text you, but it will not be my personal number. It'll be my business number.
And it looks just like any other messenger app. Like
Yeah.
it's just like all the different contacts in the preview of what they say, and then you can click on it to open it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you can see the previous stuff too. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So all of us can have, like, let's say all 4 of us can do sales. All of us can have the app downloaded,
Yep.
right? And then if, let's say, Kelsey goes ahead and fills out a form, or she texts somebody, we can all see that text come in. And then is it like whoever gets to it first gets to it, and I can see that somebody got to it? So now if, let's say, you get to it, I don't have to respond to it because I see that you're already on top of it.
Exactly.
It works that way, so it's live.
We have a multi-user functionality that way.
That's
So
pretty
if
cool.
you responded, it would be tagged with your alias.
So you even know that I took care of it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. And so now we know we can do it that way, and you can text that way, which is great. Can you group text from the app?
Yeah, so we also kind of field group texts, like, as I mentioned earlier, for like fitness challenges or delinquent accounts, like any instance where you want to kind of reach out to bunch of people with kind of the same message. You could just like all put them in the same group and just boom, just kind of send it out all at one go, rather than individually, painstakingly typing out text by text by text. And we mentioned scalability, and that's kind of features like that are part of why landline texting really kind of has taken the industry by storm, because it streamlines your business, it makes things easier, saves you time.
As a fitness studio owner, or, even a small business owner in general that can, that could use something like this, what am I losing by not having it?
Yeah, so when you think about it, kind of obviously the first thing is, you're losing sales because you're not converting the customers, you're not kind of engaging, you're not making those leads actual clients. And then from the second side of things, you're also kind of just running a less efficient business. By not using texting, a lot of the times you kind of get wrapped up in that calling, email, kind of drug out process that's kind of the standard today.
Our sales cycles have reduced dramatically since including texting.
Exactly.
Because email is hard to get a hold of people. They'll reply back to it later. Calls get ignored most of the time.
Yep.
Text message open rates are insane. What are they, like 97% or something?
98.
I think
98% open
Yeah.
rates.
Mm-hmm.
So we've noticed the sales pipeline. I think we used to be at like a 6-week pipeline. We're down to like 3. So it's literally cut it in half for us. Just because people are responding faster, we can get them to that funnel quicker.
Yeah, exactly. So it reduces, the sales cycle time, but it also just kind of lets you just perform the general back and forth communication of, everyday communication at your gym in a more efficient manner. And then I guess kind of at a broader scale, kind of as texting becomes more and more ingrained in kind of communication as a whole, you run the risk of just, falling behind.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so Zipwhip kind of covers all those bases.
We try.
Yeah. No, you do. Mr. Modest over here.
Yeah, we do.
Mr.
we do.
By the way, this guy, for those listening, he's like a 6-foot, 18-inch monster. The guy does like, what's the sport that you do? It's like Australian
rules.
Australian
By
rule.
way of rowing.
Yeah, it's so Google that because it's crazy. Guy did lacrosse, basketball. You broke your ankle in lacrosse or something.
Rugby.
Rugby. That's right. Even worse. So, guy's a beast. But and see, we're beasts too. But just
we are. No,
all right. So Zipwhip sounds like it's a beast in its own, which is great, and it helps a lot of people. It's pretty affordable too. So getting started with something like this, is it pretty easy?
Yeah. Basically, just call us. We can get your number activated, and you can start with. Well, generally we give a 14-day trial, but maybe for the viewers today, we can extend it to actually a free 30-day trial, if that's cool with you.
What do you think, viewers and listeners? Pretty good. I like it. So 30-day trial. You'll give anybody that's listening or watching a GSD show 30 days for you to test it out?
Yep.
Free 30-day
No
trial.
like strings, no like you have to do a 12-month and then you get a...
Nope.
No commitment.
We're month
That's a
to
pretty
month.
sweet deal. Okay, so we'll set that up, guys, on this page, this episode page. And this is something that was important to me because I feel like, to me, I know how much text messaging has impacted my business and the people that hired us, all the different fitness studios and gyms that we work with that use text messaging. It's pretty clear that they're much more successful in their sales process than the people that don't use it. And so I wanted to find an industry expert that can come in here and really just break it down more. And I appreciate you guys doing that. And I'm looking forward to probably having you guys on the show again, maybe in the next 6 months to a year, and kind of see some stats and some numbers. And I think that'd be really great too, to see how things have evolved, because it's just getting better and better, right?
Make it in the winter so we can kind of get out of that Seattle rain.
Get out. Deal. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSD show. Again, you can get the free 30-day trial at thegsdshow.com. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Stitcher and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to thegsdshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.